Let's start with a plot twist. William Noguera wasn't just hanging out on death row, waiting for a bad romance novel to pass the time. Nope. He decided to take matters into his own hands and become a real-life investigator. Imagine this. A man locked behind bars, looking at a long sentence, and he thinks, why not solve a few cold cases while I'm at it? If only we all had that kind of ambition on a Monday morning, right? This story isn't just about murder and crime. It's about redemption and human connection. William Noguera, a death row inmate, became the unlikeliest hero by exposing the notorious alphabet killer, Joseph Naso. Who would have thought a man in prison could uncover a serial killer's decades-old secrets? Well, folks, Noguera proved that life on death row doesn't have to mean the end of your impact on the world. This video is a deep dive into that shocking revelation, and trust me, you'll want to keep watching. It's better than your favorite mystery thriller, and there's no popcorn required. So, who was Joseph Naso anyway? The alphabet killer. Let's meet the real villain here, Joseph Naso, a name that will send shivers down your spine. Imagine a man so twisted that he didn't just murder. He turned his crimes into a chilling alphabet game, giving each of his victims a letter based on their initials. I mean, talk about an overachiever. Who needs a planner when you're turning murder into a spreadsheet? Naso's eerie sense of organization was almost as chilling as the crimes themselves. He methodically mapped out his actions as if he were creating a twisted version of a criminal to-do list. And here's the kicker: this guy was so meticulous. His crimes were almost like a secret code, waiting to be cracked. Naso was convicted for 4 brutal murders. But what most people didn't know was how much more he could have gotten away with if it wasn't for an inmate with too much time on his hands and a lot of curiosity. Yeah, Noguera wasn't just looking for a prison hobby. He wanted answers that nobody had dared to find. There was something about the case that gnawed at him, a question no one was brave enough to ask. The fact that Noguera was able to connect the dots that others had missed was nothing short of extraordinary. It wasn't just a matter of justice. It was about unraveling a criminal mastermind's secrets that had eluded the law for decades. Way to death row inmate solve a cold case? This is not a joke. You're probably sitting there thinking, surely you're joking. I can already hear you. A death row inmate? Really? Solving cold cases? Are we talking about a new Netflix series? Well, spoiler alert, Noguera wasn't just passing time with weird prison hobbies or making friendship bracelets. He had a mission, and this wasn't some DIY project or the plot of a B-movie. This was a full-scale investigation, and Noguera wasn't letting anything slip past him. His sharp mind and relentless drive turned him into an unlikely sleuth, digging into the dark corners of old unsolved cases. Imagine a man in prison, barred from the outside world, yet determined to shed light on one of the darkest mysteries out there. When Noguera approached law enforcement, they weren't exactly lining up to take his call. Yeah, sure, let's listen to the guy on death row. They probably thought, what could he possibly know about a cold case from decades ago? They couldn't have been more wrong. Noguera wasn't some delusional inmate making baseless claims. He had real evidence and undeniable insights. It's like when you're in a group project and the quiet kid who never speaks finally drops the bomb of wisdom. Suddenly, everyone's looking at them like, wait, what? Noguera's investigation wasn't just a one-off moment. It had serious implications, and soon law enforcement couldn't ignore his revelations. And suddenly, this inmate was the key to solving a cold case from 1974. Not bad for someone who was technically supposed to be doing nothing but waiting. Here was someone in prison with a life sentence who took the initiative to help solve a case that had everyone stumped. It's like a dramatic movie scene, only this time it wasn't Hollywood fiction. It was real, and Noguera's persistence paid off in ways nobody could have expected. The investigation. Now, let's talk about how this investigation actually played out. It's like watching a true crime documentary, but with a twist. Imagine it's happening inside a prison, not a slick studio with perfect lighting and perfectly dressed detectives. You can almost smell the mystery in the air and that distinct aroma of prison cafeteria food. It's not the glamorous, sleek world of crime solving we're used to seeing in documentaries. This was real, raw, and gritty. Picture Noguera sitting at a rickety table in a stark, cold prison room. flipping through old case files, trying to make sense of something that had baffled the authorities for years. The only thing more mysterious than the case was probably the mystery meat served in the cafeteria. Noguera wasn't alone in his mission. He partnered up with cold case detective Kenneth Mains. Imagine the two of them. One's behind bars and the other is free, but both working together on a case that had gone cold decades ago. It's like Batman and Robin, except instead of high-tech gadgets, they had case files, a prison cell, and endless determination. They were playing a game of mental chess, where every move mattered. Noguera's access to the case, combined with Main's experience in solving cold cases, formed a powerful partnership that turned the tide on a case no one else thought they could crack. And as the investigation progressed, the stakes got higher and the tension built up like a roller coaster. Every discovery felt like a huge revelation, like one of those unexpected plot twists in your favorite true crime documentary. It was the kind of story where each little piece of evidence once discovered sent shockwaves through the case. You know that moment when the detective uncovers the missing link, and you feel that rush of excitement? Imagine that, but happening inside a prison with a man who shouldn't even have had the chance to make history. Suddenly, this wasn't just an investigation. It was the start of something huge. The alphabet killer's secrets finally exposed. Then came the moment we all waited for. The big reveal. Joseph Naso's twisted game of letters was over, and the truth was out. Noguera had connected the dots between Naso's crimes and a 1974 Oakland cold case. Imagine the surprise on Naso's face when someone else from inside prison started unraveling the mess he'd made. IT was like opening a closet full of skeletons, but instead of a harmless broom falling out, the entire skeleton army marched right into the courtroom. Naso's reign of terror was finally over, and a new chapter began for the victims' families. Justice wasn't just a word, it was real, it was tangible, and it had taken a death row inmate to get it. Justice served, but not without cost. So, after everything was uncovered, what was the impact? Families finally got the closure they'd been craving for decades. For them, the emotional weight of the case was lifted, even though the scars would remain. For Noguera, it was a bittersweet victory. Sure, he helped expose a killer, but he still faced his own fate. In a strange way, his act of redemption brought justice to not only the victims, but also to his own troubled soul. It was like finding redemption on a road no one thought he'd ever travel. But let's be real, justice never comes easy, and sometimes it's a long and winding road. The real-life heroes here weren't in capes, but in prison cells, pushing for answers, knowing full well that change doesn't come without sacrifice. As we wrap up this insane story, here's a thought to leave you with. What would you do if you were William Noguera? Would you let the walls close in, or would you take a stand? It's a question worth pondering because the truth is, sometimes we all have the power to change the course of history, no matter where we are in life. If this story got you hooked, then there's more where that came from. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And hey, leave a comment below with your thoughts on this mind-blowing case. What's the craziest plot twist you've ever heard? If you like this deep dive video into one of the most unexpected crime stories, hit the subscribe button and share this video with a friend who loves a good plot twist. We'll be back with more shocking stories, twists, and turns. Until then, remember, in the world of crime, sometimes the best investigators are the last people you'd expect.